Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Amazing Beautiful You. Oh, I'm loving this weather. It has been gorgeous. I am praying and hoping that we don't get any snow. It is April and we always seem to get snow after Mother's Day. They say Mother's Day is the cutoff in Colorado, but I've had snow in June, which is weird. That's Mother Nature here for you guys in Colorado. But welcome back. This is a podcast where we embrace the chaos, the laugh through all the mess, and we lean into grace in one imperfect day at a time. And I'm your host, Kimberly, Mama 3, chicken and dog mom, business owner, chaos coordinator, and your biggest cheerleader in this season of life. And today's episode is a little different, but I think it's one that your soul needs. We're going to talk about what my chickens, garden, and golden retrievers have taught me about grace. Yep, grace. I was like, I got to figure something out with my chickens and my dogs because I just get a kick out of it. So, that beautiful, unearned, open heart accept gift that God keeps offering to us, even when we're a hot mess. And let's be honest, it's most days. Like today, it's been a hot mess. So, pour your cup of something warm, cold, some iced tea. Get a chance to step outside barefoot if you can, and let's talk about what life on my little homestead has been preaching to me lately. Come join us. So, the chickens. I love my chickens. If anybody knows me, I love my girls. I started with chickens when we moved in this house, and I could not wait. It was 2019, and I was like, I need my chickens. I've always wanted chickens, and I got chickens. Well, there's a lot to learn about chickens, and I got ducks, and there's a lot to learn about ducks too. And I have learned over the years of what chickens I like and what chickens I didn't really care for because there's different breeds. And so right now I'm in the process of getting chickens and my girls that I have a lot of retirees from back from 2019 that are in retirement mode. So they are just not really laying anymore. So they're living out their best life right now in my little homestead and being spoiled rotten. And I have some new ones, and I'm getting some chicks, yay, in May. So I'm excited. And those of you that are watching, I will bring some of my chicks on camera so you can see. But my goal is to have rainbow eggs. I want to have a variety of all these different beautiful colors. It has been my dream just to have a carton of eggs with just beautiful colors and fun chickens. And I love holding my chickens. They are like my pets. I've taken them on car rides. Well, certain ones I've taken with me in my car. And I have some that have come to my door, my back door, and want an in, and they hang out with me. So I love my chickens. So let's start with chickens, shall we? So the chickens, you're thinking, what does chickens have to do with grace? The chickens, grace in the waiting. So let's start with the chickens. Listen to these girls. These girls don't care about your timeline. So they don't care. They don't care about your timeline. You want eggs? Guess what? You're going to get eggs when they say you're going to get eggs. So just just to give you an idea, chickens lay for new chickens. New chickens lay like if they're 6 months and like 6 months and a little bit older, they will lay during the winter time. So just think of it like a young woman, like, they say, okay, best way to put it is like chickens, just think of them, they ovulate every day. Kind of crazy, huh? So and we could just say, oh my goodness gracious, that's a lot for them to ovulate every day. But they are young, they ovulate every day, these chickens do. So they're going to get eggs. That's what ovulation is their egg. And they're young and they lay during the winter time. But as they get older, they take a break during the winter time. So during the winter time, we do not get eggs unless they are young. And so that's their time for their season for a break. But then once we start getting more daylight hours and it starts warming up, the girls will lay. And I usually average about 7 eggs a day. And so they will lay when they're wanting to lay. They don't lay all the time. They don't lay every day. You just don't know. So when you go out there, we play the guessing game. My husband and I play this guessing game, and we do bets. So I'll be like, "Hey, honey, you want to make a bet today?" I'm like, "Huh." I can hear it in his voice. So he's like, I'm like, let's bet. Let's see here. I'm guessing we got 5 eggs today. And he'll be like, oh, well, I was going to say 5. He's like, okay, fine, 6. And so we'll make a bet. I'm like, okay, I want to bet a foot rub. And he'll bet something else, like, you have to take me out golfing or whatever. That's our new thing. And so we'll make a bet. And we just never know how many eggs we're going to get. So chickens are like the same thing, right? They're like, okay, cool story. We'll get there when we'll get there. So when the chickens are going to lay, they're going to lay when they want to. And you know what? There's grace in that. We live in a world of hustle where we have to go, go, go. Productiveness, deadlines, and by nature, God's creation moves in seasons, doesn't he? We talked about that in prior podcasts that God's creation moves in different seasons. Mm. Not rush, not pressure, just the process. So God allows space for things to grow in their own time. Am I right? And I'm drinking water because I'm so thirsty today. And this includes you. He includes like your business. So seasons are your business, your healing, your calling. It's okay not to be producing yet. So in my podcast, I'm not producing money yet. I'm in my new stages. I'm in my growth stages. And this is a part where I'm just in this season of growth, but in his time. Grace says, it's good. You're still good, right? That's how we have to look at it, that we're still good. I love that one Bible verse. It's Ecclesiastes 3:1. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. I love that. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. So we got the chickens. Okay, the chickens we know lay in their time, and God has a season for them: winter, summer, growth. And now let's think about the garden. So, oh man, my garden. We worked out in my garden yesterday for about 2 hours, and we had left it. We've been slowly trying to work on it when it's been nice days, but for the last 2 months, it has been a windy mess. The wind has been every single day. And I'm not talking like little breezes, my friends. I'm talking about a gust of wind, like 70 miles an hour, where it'll blow you away. And we've been trying to sneak out in the garden and get a little bit done because last season was a hard season for us. My mother-in-law passed away, and during that time, we were in Tucson a lot. And so, being in Colorado, we flew back. And those of you that know us we've had puppies. So during that time, we had puppies. So it was just nuts. Um, so we kind of just left our garden. We kind of just left in a mess. We harvested what we could, but we left in a mess. And so getting it prepared for this year, for this season, we've had a lot of work before us. So getting the weeds pulled, the old weeds that have dried up, getting the soil ready, going through and cleaning up, the leaves, taking the compost bin from all the compost and emptying it and mixing it in our gardens beds. We've had a lot of work to do. And then on top of that, we've had ants. And ants have been such a nuisance. We've had so many ants, so bad that the ants have overtaken my backyard. They have like these little ant holes. And my poor golden retriever, my little one that we kept from the litter, Greta, bless her heart, she's 9 months, and we had come home from my daughter's award ceremony, and she was in the crate. And she looked like her face was so swollen, just really, really swollen. And she just looked miserable, just absolutely miserable. And she was like itching like crazy. And we looked at her, and she was covered in just ant bites, head from toe. So, needless to say, our backyard, and she's okay by the chance, but by the way, we've been giving her Benadryl and we've gotten the inflammation down. But our backyard has taken a toll because our season last year was a very hard season for us. So this year we are trying to get our garden ready for the gardening season and getting our yard ready because my daughter's we're having family over in May and my daughter's graduating. So we have a lot of work. So we got into our garden yesterday and we're fixing the soil and we're getting things ready. But I will say that my garden is a beautiful chaos. One minute last year, it was lush and green and full of life. And then what comes next is like weeds. Weeds overtook our garden because we were not around. Bugs, let me just tell you about bugs. Grasshoppers. Ugh, those things are a nuisance. Grasshoppers and ants, I think, were our big insects that just wanted to overtake our garden and our yard. Um, I had plants that I had planted. I had, artichokes that they've done good in the past. And this time they just gave up. I've had some other plants, some tomatoes that maybe just did not do as good. And I feel like that tomato plant was just like, I'm done. I don't want to go. But all my other tomato plants were thriving and beautiful tomatoes, but this one particular tomato plant just would not thrive. And no matter what I did to, feed it and to take care of it, it just did not want to work. It just wanted to give up. Doesn't that sound familiar? Some days we just are like, ugh, I just want to give up. I just want to give up. So sometimes I feel like that poor tomato plant. But here's what gardening has taught me, because I love gardening. One, you can't control everything, right? Growth comes with pruning. So if you prune those plants back, like we talked about in past podcast, it can grow and it can grow along this mess. And sometimes what looks dead, which we look at, if I go out to my garden right now, there's still stuff. So for instance, my raspberry bushes, they look dead. They look dead. They're these dried up twigs. But with some pruning, which is what I did yesterday, is I pruned. I got my gloves on because those things are sticklers, and I pruned and I pruned and I pruned away the dead mess. And there I found was some new sprouts of my raspberry bushes. So growth comes with all that pruning, and beauty grows right alongside that. So there's that beauty. My raspberry bushes were growing along that mess of old branches that looked dead, but all they needed was some sunlight and water, and that's what we're getting now in Colorado. Thank goodness. Um, so just know that grace meets us in the mess and still calls us worthy of tending. You don't have to be fully thriving to be deeply loved. So even in our messes, we are still deeply loved. We're deeply loved by not only God, but we're deeply loved by our friends and people around us. I love that one verse, John 15:2. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit. Well, every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. So I'm like, please, please, God, prune me so I can bear more fruit and I can be more fruitful in my life. So that is my garden analogy. So my other analogy is my golden retrievers. And those of you that are watching, I have a golden retriever right now with me that just decided to come. You heard your name. He said, I hear mommy talking about golden retrievers. So here I am, mom. This is my Goldie girl. She's the mommy of all the puppies. Bless her heart, she birthed 15 puppies. So golden retrievers, I have 3 of them. I have Gunner. He's my old man Gunner. And Gunner is very much a goofball, but he likes love on his terms. But he is just he's there for you when you need him. So if you need a hug, he's there. He'll let you hug him. Goldie is more my I will close my eyes if you pet my paw and tell me you love me, as she's doing right now. She is my field golden, and she is very active. She loves squirrel chasing and car rides. And yes, I said that word, that magic word. Her eyes just lit up. And she loves looking at cows. She just loves embracing life. So she is my one that is very hyper and very active. And then I've got Greta, which is one of her babies that we kept, one of her litter mates. And Greta, I love it because Greta is 100% a mix of Gunner and Goldie both, which I couldn't ask for a better golden, having the best of both of them. Greta is my active. She still is active and loves to play, and she loves to play hide and seek. But in the same time, she is my couch potato. She sees me get that heating blanket out. I'll get that heating blanket out and I'll cover my legs and my body. And she sits there at the end of the couch and she just gives me this look like, Mom, I went up. And she will just jump up and plop herself right on me and be goofy and chest. And she is my goofy girl. But I love it because she's like a mix of both of them, and she's my goofy puppy and learning so much already. So you're like, okay, well, how do these golden retrievers, fit in for Grace? Well, it's grace and loyalty and joy. So these fluffy goofballs of mine that are on four legs, they don't care if I'm wearing makeup. They don't care if dinner's late. Okay, maybe just a little bit. They'll give me the eyeball, a stink eye sometimes. Or if I just lost it earlier between all the chaos of between work and the house being a mess and my kids and my husband, they don't care if I lost it on them. They're just there. They are tail wagging and loving me anyways. They love me for who I am. And I look at Grace like that. Grace looks a lot like unconditional love, doesn't it? So if my dogs can offer that kind of grace, how much more does God offer? How much more does God offer for grace? And that reminds me that joy is simple, that presence matters more than perfection. So showing up, it may not be perfect. My podcasts are not perfect. I don't edit out all the imperfections. And because it's being present, being here, being in the moment, being in my moment of being a podcast and being with you all, feeling you're with me, you're my friends, you're my family. And when you're with friends and family, they make mistakes and they don't say the things that are right. I know my words don't always come out right, but you know what? I know that you like me for who I am, and this is who I am, and this is my podcast, and this is what it's about. That you are here with me in this journey, and you love me and you like me for who I am. So it's not, it's a present that matters more than perfection, that you are not the sum of what you get done today. So a verse for that one too. So Romans 8:39, nothing can separate us from our love from God. Nothing can separate our love from the love of God. Isn't that so true that he loves us unconditionally? He loves us even in our faults. He loves us in our moments of just when we have done something wrong. He still loves us. Nothing will stop him from loving us. So if you're feeling like God doesn't love me or he's not been there for me, he is. He loves you. He loves you in all your imperfections. He loves you. So the real talk and takeaway from this whole segment, I just thought it would be fun to talk about my chickens and dogs and my chaotic life, is what I want to leave with you, my sweet friends, that you are not behind. You don't have to bloom on demand. So if everybody is saying you need to get this and this and this done, and you need to be ready and no, you don't have to bloom on demand. You're allowed to be a beautiful, messy garden, still worth of tending. You are fully loved, even when you haven't laid an egg, aka accomplishing a thing today. So you're still loved, even if you have not accomplished one thing today, you're still loved. And guess what? You are not alone. Grace is not just something God gives, it's something He is. So the next time you see a weed in your life or a golden retriever moment, which obviously I have lots of those, and you're welcome to follow me on my social media because you'll see a lot of my chickens and golden retrievers. But if you next time you see that weed in your life or a golden retriever in your moment, reminds you of unconditional love. Smile and thank God for those little lessons because He's even using the chickens that I have to speak to us. So thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. If this episode spoke to your heart, share it with a friend who needs a reminder that she is doing better than she thinks. Tag me at Amazing Beautiful You Podcast on Instagram. I'd love to see where you're listening from. Tell me, send me a text, send me a message, reach out to me, or send me an email. So whether you're in the garden, the carpool line, or if you're with your golden retriever curled up next to you, just remember that we love you and you're amazing and you are just as you are. Thank you guys with grace and coffee and chickens and golden retrievers. Thank you for listening today. And if you'd like to learn more on how you can be a sponsor, please reach out to me at amazingbeautifulyoupodcast@gmail.com. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.